Good morning.
We are doing both Instagram and Facebook Live, so y'all bear with us this morning. Something new. We are on vacation or getting ready to wind down vacation, and so we have a beautiful scene backdrop this morning. Anything?
Good morning. I'm just enjoying the vacation and enjoying being off, enjoying freeing my mind a little bit, enjoying this view. Hold on, let me see if I can turn this around so you guys can see the view.
See the view.
I'm really enjoying this. Today we're talking about self-care, and sometimes you just need a moment to yourself. Living a busy lifestyle, you get stuck in the day-to-day routine, and you just need time for yourself. If you're a busy professional, mom, dad, whatever, you need to have that time for self-care, to take care of yourself, to recharge your battery so that you can continue to do the things that you need to do, so you'll be able to do the things that you want to do more often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is the topic for discussion today. Today we are talking about self-care, and we're talking about self-care in 8 areas of our life. Bear with me because I don't have any of my notes in front of me or anything, because we are engaging in some self-care. But I'm gonna name the 8 areas, and we're kind of talk about it. We have emotional, psychological, physical, spiritual, emotional. Did I say that one already?
Yeah. Social, financial,
environmental,
and professional self-care.
Yeah. 8 areas. And so we'll kind of just talk about how you can engage in self-care and what that actually looks like in those 8 areas. Let's start with physical self-care. I'm gonna let the massage therapist talk about physical self-care.
So physical, massage therapy is a very physical job. And actually recently I was in a car accident, and it really it slowed me down a little bit. It reminded me about how much I need to actually take care of myself more often. I need to practice what I preach on a daily basis with my clients and practice physical self-care. So whether that is working out, getting massages, yoga, Pilates, anything to take care of your physical body, this body that we live in, and that has to do all the things that we need to do in this physical world. You got to take care of yourself, guys. I see so many people, I'm very observant, and I like to people watch. So I see people like limping, and they're very young or overweight, or many of these things that we can oftentimes prevent just by, taking care of our physical selves. So physical self-care is very important. I was in a car accident, so I've been doing a lot of physical self-care lately, just to trying to get my body back to feeling normal, and so that I can do the things I need to do on a daily basis.
But I think it's important to add that you shouldn't wait till things like that happen to engage in physical self-care. So I've been doing a boot camp since May. Shout out to 5 Star Fitness in Birmingham, 21 Days of Hell. They are killing me and putting me through hell. But it's been a good process to just see my body changing, engaging in better eating habits, and it's just not for the summer for me. It's actually just trying to engage in a better lifestyle and hold myself accountable, because as you age, things change about your body. I mean, I've been having issues with a tooth, or more than one two teeth, and
it's called teeth. More than one of them is teeth.
And so I think for me, it's just important to engage in self-care on a regular basis and take care of this temple that I've been blessed with. So I say don't wait till something happens. It's very important, because if you burn yourself out from both ends, if you burn yourself out, you can't contribute the best of you. So engaging in physical self-care, especially as you get older, paying attention to your diet. If you start having high blood pressure or diabetes or aches and pains, your body's trying to tell you that you need to do a better job of taking care of it. Want to say shout out to Bold Athletics. Hello, Portia and Boosie. Thanks for tuning in.
Hey, what's up, niece, nephew?
Let's talk about psychological self-care.
Man, so that's what we're on today. Let me just turn this camera right back around. This is psychological self-care right here. I mean, you can't get any better than this. Enjoying what God has blessed us with. All this water, all of this just all the natural elements, the trees. So there's a new thing that's really not new, but a lot of people call it earthing. So basically just getting back into and connecting with the earth. So, take your shoes off, put your feet on the dirt. So it's all about
get contract.
Yeah, it's all about balancing yourself and balancing your energy with the earth. And so today, right now, is like, this is psychological self-care times 10 for me. I was able to just not think about work at all. I mean, literally, I hadn't thought about it. You know what I mean? So it's,
which is rare.
Which is very rare. So, but my wife surprised me with this trip to Gulf Shores and just relaxing, man. And it's been so relaxing, fishing with the family, doing all the little events around here, swimming, going to the beach, put my feet in the sand. I feel so clear. My mind feels so clear, and
which is the point of psychological self-care. It's about getting to a point where you clear your mind so that you can refocus and recenter yourself. And so you have to be very intentional. So this trip was about being intentional, just taking a step back from the hustle and bustle. We are always humping. We are always busy and doing things. What's up, Felicia Daniels?
Hey, Felicia.
Thanks for tuning in. So psychological self-care is just about the act of being intentional, about clearing out your mind, allowing yourself to recharge and refocus.
Yeah.
So let's talk about emotional self-care. And
I'm gonna let the mental health therapist talk about emotional self-care.
So emotional self-care, I again, it starts with intentionality.
Yeah.
I think that it's important to recognize that there are a lot of times where we bite our tongue. There are a lot of things that we experience in the workplace, in our marriages and relationships, as parents, as spouses, as siblings, sons, daughters, whatever. The list is extensive, you name it. And sometimes we don't allow ourselves to decompartmentalize, meaning unpacking all the negative emotions and things that you're holding on to, and we wait till we have an overflow of hey camp girls, thanks for joining in at Bold Athletics Sports Camp. Shout out to you girls or kids. But emotional decompartmentalizing is basically about taking the time when you're not about to explode to deal with what you're experiencing, like to deal with what's really going on. And so an emotional self-care, frustration with, or that you're angry with. So that's what emotional self-care looks like. And you can do that in a space like this. Like if you're at the beach, journal or process, take deep breaths. That's part of emotional self-care, which ties in very closely with psychological and spiritual self-care. Spiritual is not just talking to God or whoever your spiritual being is. Ours is God, and I believe a lot of people call God by the same name, but we're all serving the same being by different names. But taking the time to meditate. Hey princess. Taking the time to meditate and recenter yourself, having a grateful spirit, being able to focus on the positive things in your life. That is what emotional and spiritual and psychological self-care looks like. It's unpacking all that stuff, focusing on the positive, because like I mentioned in our Power of Positivity Talk About It Tuesdays. If you haven't seen that, check it out on our Facebook page, or we now have a YouTube page, Living the Stress Life on YouTube. But I talked about the importance of being thankful and grateful. I don't have diabetes. I don't have high blood pressure. I don't have cancer. All my children are here. I haven't had to deal with the police and all these other stressors that so many people are dealing with. And so taking the time to say thank you, taking the time to center yourself, that's what emotional, spiritual, and psychological self-care looks like.
Yeah.
Let's talk about professional self-care. What does that look like? Do you know what that looks like? So
professional self-care is just having things in order.
That's me being shady.
Yeah. Just having things in order.
Aqua.
Professional self-care is about making smooth transitions, having things in order in your professional life, having a clean working space, having a clean, having set goals, having realistic expectations, and being on the same page. So I think one thing that you have to be clear in a professional setting is keeping the main thing, and making sure everyone knows what the main thing is. So it's just about, working as a team. All of that to me is what professional self-care is. Things that won't be frustrating. Anything that can minimize frustration in a professional setting is, to me, professional self-care.
But it goes back to intentionality. Professional self-care is, like he said, cleaning out your workspace, doing what you need to do to make sure your team is on the same page. And sometimes that means stepping away from work and doing something fun, just making sure that the business is in good health. You know what I'm saying? So professional self-care is how is my business running? Is my team feeling burned out? Is our workspace cleaned and maintained? Have we addressed any maintenance issues that need to be addressed?
And they all go hand in hand, because one of the things that I focus a lot on, and one of the main reasons I needed this trip, I'm always thinking about my team
and work.
I'm always thinking about how I can do something better for my team. How can I get my team more money? Because I know that financially, what we do doesn't pay a lot. So I'm always looking to maximize the amount I can get my team. So I'm always thinking about them. And that actually leads to a lot of
burnout feeling. I would say it's
I'm
when
always thinking about them.
Passion turns into poison. When your passion
That's good.
turns into poison, because it basically you can't turn it on or off. Mm-hmm. You need to do some professional self-care. You need to take the time to take a step back and just focus on fun. And like he said, make the main thing the main thing. Why are we doing that? We love this. I love this. I love this job. And if you get to the point where you can no longer say that, professional self-care is knowing when to step away from that profession and choosing something new. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about financial self-care. I think this is a hard one for a lot of people, because so many of us have grown up in households, especially as African Americans, where there is not good financial literacy or
That's true.
financial management or behaviors. Mm-hmm. And so I think that
a lot of us learn the hard way.
We learn the hard way. We learn by ruining our credit, repossessions, foreclosures, mm-hmm. evictions, because, we don't have access to a surplus of resources or money. And so sometimes, hey Nancy, thanks so much for tuning in. Sometimes we really don't do what we need to do with our money because we're focusing on living. We're so stressed with work and family things that we just want to go out and have fun, and then having fun or doing something that you really can't afford to do financially, it ain't even that you can't afford to do it, you don't plan for it. What I'm finding, hey Kim, thanks so much for tuning in.
Hey Kim.
what I'm finding is that financial self-care too is about planning. Us taking this trip is about planning. It's not about you have to have a whole lot of money. If you know that you need a trip to the beach, plan for it.
Yeah.
Put a little bit of money aside. Get with a travel agent and put a little bit of money aside. With cruises, you can set up a cruise and pay on it, and it only has to be paid up 60 days. Oh, there goes some fish. Yeah, we've been trying to catch us some fish. We ain't caught us.
I know these fish jumping out here now though.
Jumping
like,
this morning.
I think because it rained last night too.
But cruises will allow you to make payments in 60 days before you're supposed to ride out. You have to have the balance paid. So if you start a year in advance, that's good financial self-care.
Yeah.
That's good financial management.
Now, Kim said that's good advice. The problem is too many people are afraid to leave their job. They think it's their security.
Okay, so that's going back to professional self-care. You're right. When I had to leave, when I left the intensive residential facility I was working, I was comfortable there. I could come and go as I needed to. I had so much freedom and flexibility to still be a mom, but this place was stressing me out and it was bad for my health. And I think I really kind of cried a little bit when I was pursuing my doctorate. It was driving me crazy. Like, I was so stressed out trying to pursue a doctorate because it was a personal goal. And Lamar sat me down and was like, listen, this is something that we just need to put on hold. It's not good for you right now, and you are driving us crazy.
Yeah, it was a big stressor for the whole family.
The whole family.
But another point is too, Kim, that some people actually like their jobs. Like, some people love their jobs. They work hard to get in the job that they're in. They like them. So on the other hand, I understand from Kim's perspective, I think she's talking more about entrepreneurs who feel stuck in a job.
You would think of that perspective.
Yeah. Like, so entrepreneurs who feel stuck at a job,
Okay.
I think that's what more of what Kim was talking about. But there are people who really love their jobs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we had to think about that aspect as well. But planning and planning financially is very important. That's something that I think needs to be taught on the elementary school level. I think we need to start learning really early. I know so many of us are just now getting out of the hole when you're like 30-something years old. You know what I mean? Because you go to college and you get a credit card. This is what happened to me. Never experienced anything with a credit card. Parents have never talked to me about a credit card. I don't even know if they ever had a credit card. And so then
throwing money your way.
Yeah, so you go to college and next thing you know, you're getting all this stuff in the mail. You're like, oh, I could go and buy some stuff. And not realizing that, hey, you know, you got to pay this back or this interest and all this other stuff. So, but yeah, so, you know, the earlier we can learn that, the better. What's next on the list?
We talked about financial professionals. We talked about spiritual. I know it's one we're missing.
Social
self-care.
Yeah, social self-care is something that I kind of struggle with. And I think to define that means that you got to have a life outside of your job, even outside of your family sometimes. You know what I'm saying? You got to have friends, somebody you can be intentionally living with. Hey, Gwen, you got to have someone that you can intentionally live with, go out and have fun with. So having a social circles, people that you can share with, have intimate conversations with, people that you can trust, I think is very important in living a balanced lifestyle.
And I will say social self-care also looks like eliminating people who are not good for you. Eliminating people in your circle who no longer align with your vision or how you see yourself. They have to be like-minded. And so if you have people that, if you say, man, I'm branching out, I'm going out to do this new entrepreneurial venture, and they have a lot of negative stuff to say about it, or they're always kind of raining on your parade or throwing
That's
salt.
thunder.
Yeah, that's thunder. So
that's a little thunder right there.
We'll wrap up in just a second because we don't want to get caught in the rain. But eliminating those people from your life. If you can't build me up, and if you can't be happy for me when I'm blessed, even when you're struggling, you don't mean me no good. You can't be in my social circle. And so I think it's important
Get them squares up out your circle.
It's important to basically be intentional about the people that you allow to pour into you and that you allow yourself to pour into, because you can have people who are leeches in your life. Like they're energy suckers.
Yeah.
They vampires.
Yeah.
They will suck the life source out of you because
You can have takers. So a lot of people call them vampires, and some of them, I mean, another term I've heard is just takers. They just take, and never give anything.
It's not a
Even if
reciprocal
it's,
relationship.
Yeah, it's not reciprocal. So even if it's just giving advice, giving of your time when you need something, or when you feel like you need someone to talk to, and when you reach out to them, they can't talk to you, or whatever. Every time you need something, you can't seem to find them, but they always reaching out to you when they need something. So it's just about having those reciprocal relationships, people that you can actually love and feel like you have a connection with in your circle.
So those are our 8 areas. Again, you got emotional, physical, psychological, financial, professional, spiritual, and social self-care.
Yeah.
And so we want to thank you guys for tuning in with us. We talk about it Tuesdays. It's thundering.
Yeah, thank you guys. We're going to leave y'all with this view. And thank you for tuning in. We're going to get out of here before it starts raining. But take some time for yourself. Get some self-care. Get some real people, some real friends in your life. And free your mind, and the rest will follow. How that song go? Free your mind, and the rest will follow.
Yes, singing is not his gift. So before we leave, I just want to remind you guys that season 2 of the podcast has dropped.
Yeah.
Every Friday at 7 a.m. So we have episode 1 that dropped this time was talking about dating, the stress of dating in 2019, and episode 2 is when they see us.
Oh yeah, we talked about When They See Us, the documentary that everybody's been talking about. So we're gonna actually post. We recorded that also.
It will be uploaded to the
audio
YouTube
and
page.
visual. So we're gonna share that on Facebook also.
All right, guys. Until next time, live your best life.
Living through your stress life.
Holla.
Peace.